For interested parents, you can contact Talitha Horn on Facebook or via text on 73977. On Friday, 3 teams of volunteers headed up to the Takitumu Conservation Area ridgelines with radio tracking devices to locate the ioi, or Rarotonga starling.
The Rarotonga starling, or ioi, is an endemic species and is only found on Rarotonga. It is a forest bird, but very little is known about it. Over the last few months, volunteers have been making regular trips up to the mountains for a few hours each time to track and record various information about the bird and its habitat. The volunteers from Te Ipukarea Society have been assisted by ecologist Rachel Selwyn, who is from Volunteer Services Abroad.
So today we're heading out radio tracking. And we're going to be tracking 6 ioi that each have a little radio transmitter on their backs. And so those transmitters are sending off signals no matter where the bird is. And our job is to hike up to some vantage points, so up on the ridgelines where we've got both a really good view, but also where our equipment can really easily pick up signals from the birds. So here I have one of the important pieces of equipment. This is our Yagi antenna. Kind of looks like the antenna that you might have on your house for TV. And so when we're up on the ridgeline, I'll have this connected, and this will be our ears, basically. It's listening out for that signal, and by spinning around slowly in a circle, I'll be finding out where the signal is strongest on each bird. Once we've got that, we take a bearing, so we use our compass to say this exact direction is where the bird was. We're working in a group of 3, and because we're all at different spots, at the same time we're going to be taking bearings that when we put those all together, it's 3 people pointing from different directions, and that tells us exactly where the bird is. So when we get that fix, those fixes over time end up being just these points on the map that tell us where that bird was over time, how that's changed, and when you look at the big picture, it'll tell us their home range, how they're using their habitat, what patterns come out around what areas of the forest they might prefer over others, and hopefully we'll get some really good data and findings from this. Yeah, so that's what we're doing today. We've been doing it since start of September, and we'll probably continue until the end of December, so that we've got a good range over the breeding season.
The call out for volunteers for this project began in July, and the capturing and tagging of the birds were done in September. Now the project is in the surveying and data collection phase.
I'm watching the screen and kind of just keeping track of where I'm pointing and slowly going around, and I'm watching how the signal number changes. So it's got 35. Okay. 34, 31. Of the strongest signal right now is in this direction. So now instead of having to rotate all the way around to see where the signal is, I'm just going to be sweeping in this area.
As I've been talking, the blue light has been going off, and we have been getting some signal strength numbers in this direction. We've also got Ake, Max and Ryan out over these ridge lines, and they are doing a very similar process.
So I've now got it that it's in between here and here.
And we've got a strong signal number there. 68, that's looking like the highest. Signal, oh, 70. This EOI number 6 would be in that direction. And of course would wait for Ake, Max and Ryan to then confirm that they've got their high signal strengths too. And we'll plug in those bearing points.
Now I can point the compass at that tree. So bird 5 and 6, we've been finding them in very similar areas each time, sometimes almost the exact same spot, which tells us that during this season, which they're right in the middle of their breeding season, if birds are being found together all the time, and we know that it's a male and a female, there's a very good chance that it's a breeding pair. So once we find a nest, what we can do is carefully observe the nest and collect some data on their breeding. Might be what time of the year it is, how often they're going to the nest, how many chicks do they have, how long do they incubate their eggs, what behaviors do ioi have during their breeding season, and all of this is information we don't currently have. Very little, if anything, is known about their breeding and nesting. So if we can locate a nest, that will be hopefully a gold mine of information.